After our last video on the Atom Bowl, the football game played on a battlefield halfway around the world, we started wondering just how deep the military's fingerprints really go on the game of football. Because what happened after World War II wasn't just a return to normal life for the men who played or watched that game. The soldiers who came home didn't just bring back memories of war, they brought back a mindset. Discipline. Hierarchy. Structure. Command. And those values didn't fade when the uniforms changed color. They became the foundation of how football was coached, organized, and even imagined in the decades that followed. From the late 1940s through Vietnam and beyond, the NFL grew under the guidance of men who had seen the real battlefield, and turned the gridiron into their next one. In this video, we're looking at the coaches, the ones who served, who led, and who built the modern NFL out of the lessons they learned in war. Al Davis began his football career in classrooms and on college fields, but an early stop in the Army helped shape the coach and executive he became. While serving, he was assigned to Fort Belvoir where he ran the post-football program and built a dominant service team. That experience put Davis in charge of young men in high-pressure situations and taught him how to organize, motivate, and get immediate results from limited time and resources. After the service, he moved into the college ranks as an offensive line coach at the Citadel, continuing to refine the technical and managerial skills he first exercised in uniform. When Davis took over the Oakland Raiders in 1963, he applied those lessons directly to the professional game. The team improved by 9 wins that season, and he was named AFL Coach of the Year. His approach combined the attention to detail and regimented preparation learned in military settings with a willingness to innovate and to demand accountability. Film study, precise practice plans, and delegated responsibilities for assistants mirrored the briefings, chains of command, and task specialization Davis had seen in the Army. He also used hard-edged, battle-focused motivational tactics to create cohesion and a singular group identity. Technically, Davis translated military-style organization into football operations, clear roles for assistant coaches, systematic talent evaluation, and fast, aggressive game plans that prioritize decisive action. Those elements later defined the Raiders as a franchise that prized toughness, preparedness, and ruthless execution. Over decades, Davis moved from coach to commissioner to owner, but the managerial DNA formed at Fort Belvoir and sharpened at the Citadel remained visible in how he ran teams and structures. For Davis, military service was not a biographical footnote. It was a formative leadership laboratory that left a direct imprint on his coaching methods and on the Raiders' culture he built. George Halas's life in football was inseparable from his service to his country. He first served during World War I in 1918, interrupting his college career after earning Rose Bowl MVP honors in 1919. That same summer, he briefly played professional baseball with the New York Yankees, demonstrating early on his versatility and competitive drive. Halas returned to football with a focus sharpened by military discipline, carrying lessons of leadership, teamwork, and resilience from his time in uniform onto the gridiron. During World War II, Halas again answered the call, serving from 1942 to 1946. His military experience reinforced the organizational and strategic skills that would define his coaching career. Halas applied the structured leadership, chain of command thinking, and emphasis on preparation learned in the Army to the NFL, where he eventually won 8 championships as head coach of the Chicago Bears. He treated the football field much like a battlefield, with detailed planning, strict routines, and a demand for accountability from every player and assistant. Beyond his tactical influence, Halas also carried a sense of duty and service into football culture. After the war, he established an annual charity game that benefited relief agencies of the armed forces, bridging his love of the sport with gratitude for the sacrifices of servicemen. His dual perspective as both soldier and coach helped him shape not just winning teams, but a franchise culture that valued discipline, loyalty, and community responsibility. For Halas, military service was both a personal crucible and a blueprint for leadership that left an enduring mark on his coaching philosophy and the NFL as a whole. Tom Landry's legendary coaching career was shaped as much by his military service as by his time on the football field. From 1942 to 1945, Landry served in the U.S. Army Air Corps, rising to the rank of second lieutenant. During those years, he learned firsthand the principles of leadership, discipline, and precision under pressure, skills that would later define his approach to coaching. Life in the military taught him how to make critical decisions quickly, manage complex operations, and maintain calm in high-stress environments, qualities that would become trademarks of his sideline presence. After the war, Landry returned to the University of Texas to play football, bringing with him the focus, resilience, and structure honed in uniform. He later joined the New York Giants as both a player and assistant coach from 1954 to 1955, applying his military-influenced work ethic to film study, practice routines, and player development. Those early experiences as a leader in uniform translated directly into his ability to organize teams and innovate strategically. When Landry became the first head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, he transformed the fledgling franchise into a disciplined, methodical, and consistently competitive team. His military background influenced his implementation of the flex defense, meticulous game planning, and systematic approach to building a roster. Under Landry's guidance, the Cowboys reached 5 Super Bowls in the 1970s, winning 2, demonstrating how his commitment to preparation, order, and calculated adaptability translated into sustained success at the highest level of the sport. Military service was not just a chapter in Landry's life, it was the foundation for a coaching philosophy that combined rigor, strategy, and steady leadership, leaving a lasting imprint on the NFL. Mike McCormick's career bridged military service, championship football, and NFL management, reflecting a path shaped by discipline and leadership learned in uniform. During his playing career, McCormick served in the Korean War with the U.S. Army, an experience that instilled resilience, focus, and the ability to perform under pressure, traits that would carry into both his playing and coaching careers. While serving, he maintained the mental and physical toughness that helped him secure NFL championships with the Cleveland Browns in 1954 and 1955, demonstrating how military service reinforced his competitive edge and team-first mentality. After retiring as a player, McCormick transitioned into coaching, taking head coaching roles with 3 NFL teams. Though his coaching record of 29-51-1 did not mirror the success of some of his contemporaries, the principles he carried from his military service, organization, accountability, and leadership, were evident in how he approached team building and strategy. McCormick emphasized preparation, discipline, and structure in his coaching staff and players, reflecting the military mindset of clear roles and chain of command management. His final NFL role as president and general manager of the expansion Carolina Panthers showcased his leadership on an organizational level. McCormick guided the new franchise to a division title, applying strategic planning, talent evaluation, and structured management, all lessons rooted in the discipline and operational thinking cultivated during his Army service. For McCormick, military experience was not just a background detail. It shaped how he approached football at every level, from player to coach to executive, leaving a legacy of leadership and resilience that influenced every team he touched. Don Shula's legendary career in the NFL was briefly interrupted by service in the Ohio National Guard during the Korean War, where he was activated in 1952 while playing for the Cleveland Browns. Serving for almost a year, Shula gained experience in discipline, accountability, and leadership under pressure, lessons that would carry forward into his approach on the football field. Returning to the NFL, he resumed his playing career, bringing with him the focus and resilience shaped by military service. By 1963, Shula became head coach of the Baltimore Colts, applying those principles to build disciplined, well-prepared teams. He led the Colts to the NFL title in 1968, demonstrating his ability to translate military-style planning and organization into football strategy, even as he experienced the bitter lessons of defeat in the Super Bowl. In 1970, Shula took over the Miami Dolphins and established a culture of rigor, preparation, and adaptability that became his hallmark. Under his leadership, the Dolphins achieved 2 Super Bowl victories and completed the only perfect season in NFL history in 1972. Shula's teams were known for their attention to detail, systematic approach to game planning, and disciplined execution, reflecting the influence of his military service on his coaching style. His career set enduring standards of excellence, and he still holds the records for most coaching wins at 328 and most Super Bowl appearances with 6. Military service provided Shula with a foundation in leadership and resilience that shaped his methods, his teams, and his unmatched legacy in the NFL. The Vietnam War had a profound impact on the NFL, shaping both the league's culture and the lives of its players. During the 1960s and early 1970s, many young men faced the draft, and some NFL players served in the military either before or during their careers. The war intensified discussions about duty, patriotism, and personal sacrifice, and teams often reflected these tensions in locker rooms and on the field. Coaches and players who had already experienced military service brought lessons of discipline, leadership, and resilience into football, while the broader league navigated the social and political challenges of a country at war. The conflict also affected recruiting, player availability, and public perception, as football became both an escape for fans and a reminder of the values of teamwork and endurance celebrated in the armed forces. Today, we remember and honor the NFL players and personnel who served and those who tragically lost their lives during the Vietnam War, offering our deepest condolences to them and their families. The influence of the military on NFL coaching is visible even today, decades after World War II and Vietnam. Many of the league's most legendary coaches began their careers as servicemen, learning lessons in leadership, discipline, and strategy that they would later bring to the football field. Military service teaches quick decision-making under pressure, clear chain of command structures, and the ability to manage large teams toward a single objective. All skills directly applicable to running a professional football team. Modern coaches continue to adopt these principles, whether or not they served in the military themselves. Structured practice schedules, detailed game plans, and the use of assistants in specialized roles mirror military organization. Coaches emphasize accountability, preparation, and adaptability, demanding that every player understand their role and execute it precisely, much like a unit in the armed forces. Leadership philosophies in football, from motivational techniques to hierarchical decision-making, often trace back to military doctrine. Even the language and culture of football borrow heavily from military ideas. Terms like blitz, field general, and mission-critical assignments reflect a mindset shaped by conflict and strategy. Preseason training camps resemble boot camps, emphasizing conditioning, mental toughness, and cohesion. In the modern NFL, the best coaches combine tactical innovation with a disciplined, organized approach, reflecting the enduring impact of military thinking. This connection is more than historical, it is a living influence, guiding how teams prepare, compete, and build culture. The discipline, structure, and leadership values honed in military service continue to inspire coaches to push their players to achieve more, fostering resilience, precision, and excellence on and off the field. The influence of the military on NFL coaching is visible even today, decades after World War II and Vietnam. Many of the league's most legendary coaches began their careers as servicemen, learning lessons in leadership, discipline, and strategy that they would later bring to the football field. Military service teaches quick decision-making under pressure, clear chain of command structures, and the ability to manage large teams toward a single objective. All skills directly applicable to running a professional football team. Modern coaches continue to adopt these principles, whether or not they served in the military themselves. Structured practice schedules, detailed game plans, and the use of assistants in specialized roles mirror military organization. Coaches emphasize accountability, preparation, and adaptability, demanding that every player understand their role and execute it precisely, much like a unit in the armed forces. Leadership philosophies in football, from motivational techniques to hierarchical decision-making, often trace back to military doctrine. Even the language and culture of football borrow heavily from military ideas. Terms like blitz, field general, and mission-critical assignments reflect a mindset shaped by conflict and strategy. Preseason training camps resemble boot camps, emphasizing conditioning, mental toughness, and cohesion. In the modern NFL, the best coaches combine tactical innovation with a disciplined, organized approach, reflecting the enduring impact of military thinking. This connection is more than historical, it is a living influence, guiding how teams prepare, compete, and build culture. The discipline, structure, and leadership values honed in military service continue to inspire coaches to push their players to achieve more, fostering resilience, precision, and excellence on and off the field.